This morning we're gonna take a mean rooster, kill him, and roast him. This morning, Bree, my wife, came back from the barn and said, he attacked me again. So this morning it's time for him to go into the oven. For those of you who have to kill a chicken and you've never done it before, maybe you have a hen that's been laying for you and she stopped laying, and you know you should probably cull her and eat her. This video is for you, because I'm gonna show you just the simplest way to do this process and hopefully destigmatize it a little bit and show you it's not that big a deal. You can do it with just really basic tools and techniques. We're just gonna use a cutting board, not really for cutting, just as a clean surface. A hose on hand is nice to have. A knife and a pot of water that your chicken will fit in. I don't want to overly dramatize this process. I don't want to tell you that I'm terribly sad that we're killing this rooster. I think it's a very practical thing. We do eat meat, and this is how meat is made. But I also don't want to trivialize it. This is a living being here, this little chicken. He's got a lot of spunk. He's actually a beautiful variety. I try to keep the chickens calm before I kill them. If you've never done this, you don't really need to be intimidated by it. This is something that all of your ancestors have done for all of history. I want you just to watch this chicken's behavior as I get ready to kill it here. And I'm going to show you, I think, what's the simplest method to kill a chicken ethically. I'm going to hold his legs and hold his wings and just turn him upside down and just wait for him to relax. I'm going to let his wings go. He may flap a little bit here, but when a chicken hangs upside down, it doesn't hurt it, and they generally get calm. I'm going to just make a little loop out of this string I have in the tree. I'm going to slip it all the way over his feet and over his spurs. So our little rooster's here. He's pretty calm. He's upside down. I'm going to take this chicken by the head and I'm going to cut through the front of his neck. We want to bleed the chicken's carcass for good flavor and to make sure all the blood is out of the meat. I'm just focused right now on this chicken and wanting him to have as good of a death as possible for an animal that's going to the table. The chicken may flop around a little bit after you cut, but as long as you've seen a lot of blood flow out, you know the chicken has lost consciousness or will extremely quickly completely lose consciousness. And after that, sometimes they'll have some little spasms. As soon as the chicken's totally still, we're ready to scald it. We're shooting for 145 to 150 degrees for this scald. It's a little warm. I'll shoot a little water in it. We have a little dish soap in this water that just helps get the chicken's body really clean. All right, I'm gonna take that. What we're gonna do now is put the whole chicken down into the water, and you want to agitate the chicken so that that water penetrates to the skin everywhere, and you want your feet under the water as well. Let's try that. I'm gonna pull this chicken out. I'm gonna check two places. I'm gonna check the feet here and see if this skin comes off easy. So far, that outer skin on the feet is peeling right off. That's what we wanna see. I'm also gonna check wing feathers because they're some of the hardest to remove, and these wing feathers are coming out really nice and easy. I think my scald is done. Plucking chickens by hand is quite a lot of work, and the key to it is that you just don't stop and you just pluck as fast as you can, grab handfuls of feathers if possible, and pull them out. A quick rinse will show you if you have any feathers left and get off all the ones that you've already pulled. Next, we're going to cut the chicken's head off. I'm going to cut with my sharp knife a circle through the skin around the neck here to the bone, and we'll snap that off with a little twist. Next, I'm going to cut through the skin closer to the body and remove the neck skin here. I'm cutting a circle around the neck. We'll pull off the neck skin. I'm going to cut to the bone all the way around and snap and twist that off. This chicken has a full crop because it ate breakfast, and that's just the food that it just ate. It will not meaningfully contaminate your meat. I'm going to pull the crop out as far as I can, and I'm going to just cut it off, flush with the body. Next, we're going to remove the chicken's feet. This is easily done by looking at the back of the leg, and there's two little bumps here. One bump here, one bump here, and we're going to take our knife and gently slice between those until we hit bone, and we'll go on the other side and slice there. We'll slice all the way around to bone, but not through the bone. You may need to twist it just a little bit and cut once more the last little tendon there. The next step is to pull the entrails out of this chicken. Between the tip of the breastbone here and between the vent, which is right here by the tail, we're going to take a little pinch of skin and slice through it, just a little slice. Once you're in and you can see the internal organs, put 2 fingers in and stretch it open. Next, I'm going to reach just with this chicken, 1 finger up inside. With a large chicken, you can put your hand in. And I'm running the back of my finger up the breastbone as far as I can reach. And I'm pulling the organs, the lungs and heart, away from the upper part. I'm going to reach up and grab the esophagus and the trachea and pull them out. I'm working my way with my fingers on the backbone now on the lower side of this chicken and pulling everything out. Now all of the organs are outside and the intestines go down to the vent. I'm going to take a little pinch of skin right here and I'm going to pull the intestines that way. I don't want to cut them. And I'm going to cut straight down to the tail along the side of the vent here. I'm going to cut now horizontally below the vent, right along the tail. Now I'm going to flip everything to the other side, the intestines. Now I'll pull that tight and I'll cut down on the other side of the vent, straight down, and complete that little loop that we made. And then everything here will pull away, taking the chicken's vent with it. The only thing left to do here is to reach up and with your fingers scrape out any lung tissue. Lung tissue is red, bloody looking, or pink to red, and it's all up on the ribs. This is what lung tissue looks like. Don't worry if you leave a tiny bit, it won't hurt anything. Next, we have to cut off this little oil gland on the back of the tail. Here's the tip of the tail. Right below it is a little bump. We're going to slice down in a little sawing motion to bone, and then come up along the bone and slice towards the tip of the tail, running along the bone there. And we're just going to slice that right off. Next, we'll just rinse out the inside of this chicken carcass to make sure it's totally clean. And now our chicken looks like a grocery store chicken. If you want to save your liver, find the sac of bile on it and carefully cut the liver free from that sac of bile. Feel free to waste a little bit of liver and avoid cutting into that bile sac. If I cut open the bile sac, this is what it looks like. You don't want that on your liver. If you want to save your gizzard, slice it all the way around. Careful, don't dull your knife. There's grit in here. This is one muscle that the chicken uses to grind its food, and there's rocks in it. We're going to pull it open. Everything in there is rocks and food. This is muscle tissue of the gizzard. Inside the gizzard is a very tough lining that protects the muscle from the rock during this grinding action. If you want to prepare your gizzard for eating, people like fried gizzards, you have to peel out that very tough layer. You cannot really eat this. Here's the waist, and here's what we're going to use. Our gizzard, the carcass, neck, and feet for chicken stock. And these feet are perfectly clean. All the outer skin is peeled off, including all the outer nails, and heart and liver. I'm going to create a brine with a little warm water and salt, top it off with cold water, and I'm just making this brine to taste like seawater about. We'll put our chicken down in there. I'm going to weight it down with a bowl to keep it under the brine and put it in the fridge for a few hours. There's a couple ways to take an older chicken like this, and I know he's old by the size of his spurs, and cook him in a tender way. Basically, you want to cook this chicken slowly, but other things like aging the chicken from 4, 5, 6, 7 days in your fridge, or brining the chicken overnight can help tenderize it. And then you want to either slow roast it in the oven, cook it in your crock pot, or cook it in an Instapot. We're gonna roast it as soon as it's done brining. I'm gonna bag up the neck and the feet, and I'm also gonna throw the liver and the heart in there for next time we make chicken stock. We'll throw that in the freezer. We'll melt a little lard in a frying pan. We'll lightly bread these gizzards. And fry it. Fried chicken gizzards. I don't think I've ever had chicken gizzards, ever. The flavor is good. It's a little tough. It's a hard-working muscle. Let's try the whole thing. Tastes good though.
I like it.
Good. Yeah, you can have it. That chicken smells amazing. I'm gonna try one leg. I know this is gonna be tough. If you take an older chicken and you roast it, like I wanted to try this time, it's gonna be on the tough side, but it's gonna be full of flavor. It's definitely tough. Those little legs have been running around for a long time. Very, very flavorful. Delicious. It's almost more like wild game when you're dealing with an older chicken. But of course you can do this exact process with a younger chicken from your flock and have amazing tender meat. Well, thank you all for joining us. I hope you learned something today. This was chicken from the yard to the oven in the morning. Well, this afternoon. Goodbye.